Palantir is one of the hottest names in AI these days, and for good reason. Over the past year alone, this company's been on fire, rising over 280% this year to date. Today, it's up 7% based on the news that I'm about to fill you in on, which is very exciting. And while I would normally say that it's probably not the best idea to jump in when something's on an uptrend, I believe these prices are nothing compared to where it's gonna skyrocket to once this news actually comes true. So in this video, I'm gonna explain the crazy news for Palantir, a couple of different ways for you to invest based off of your risk profile, and give you an understanding of just what Palantir is and how important it is for this whole world of AI, because Palantir is changing the game. My name is Nolan Govea. My students call me Professor G, and I made this channel to make investing simplified. So you've definitely heard of NVIDIA or Taiwan Semiconductor, and you likely know that these companies build the microchips needed to run this high-powered system that AI runs on. Since we need the chips in order to make any of this AI stuff work, companies like NVIDIA and Taiwan Semiconductor have been absolutely crushing it lately. Well, that's the hardware side of AI. The software side of AI is the other important piece, and none of these companies have the competitive advantage or first mover advantage like Palantir does. They're head and shoulders above the competition, and they do things that every business and government entity needs, so their customer pool is virtually limitless. Whoever has the best and most amount of data is king, and Palantir can collect, integrate, and sort that data in order to make companies so much stronger. I'll explain a little further on why Palantir is so amazing and what it actually does specifically, because that's going to get you super excited as well. But I want to let you in on that huge news that just came out yesterday. Palantir Technologies today announced that it will transfer the listing of its Class A common stock to the NASDAQ Global Select Market, the NASDAQ, from the New York Stock Exchange. The company expects to begin trading as a NASDAQ-listed company on November 26, 2024, and its common stock will continue to trade under the symbol PLTR. Upon transferring, Palantir anticipates meeting the eligibility requirements of the NASDAQ 100 index. This is huge. Whenever a stock gets listed on a huge index, something like the NASDAQ, that stock just skyrockets. But the other big thing is that having them on this index gives them this floor, this place where the stock shouldn't be able to drop much further down below, because there's so many people that are investing in the index. And most people are investing in a certain index like the NASDAQ, mostly for the top 10 companies, but they don't realize they're also invested in all the other 90 or 95 companies that are within that index. And what that's doing is that helping all the other companies that are in the index to get some investment. And what it basically does is makes the company a little more sustainable. It gives them somewhat of a floor, like I said before, and it makes it so that that company can forecast and understand how much money it actually has and how much money it has coming in from its shareholders and stockholders. And because of that, that company can just become even more strong and be able to use that capital to just build like crazy. Palantir earlier this year got added to the S&P 500, and now it's on track to be added to the NASDAQ 100. The great thing for you is that if you invest in either QQQ or QQQM, you will now be invested in Palantir, because those ETFs track the NASDAQ 100. Now, the way to get rich in the stock market is not to buy into the stock after everybody else has, but you want to get in right when the news happens. And so as soon as I heard about this news, I went straight to my Patreon page and I wrote up a little blog so that they could understand, because that's my inner circle. So if you want to be a part of this inner circle, come on over and check out the Patreon link that's down in the description below, and it's just $20 a month. You get to be in this group of a bunch of investors, and when big things happen, like when the election was going on, and when we had all those crazy earnings reports, and just recently this Palantir information, I break it there first, before it even comes over to YouTube. We also do a live Zoom with everybody every 2 weeks where you can get your questions answered and where you can talk with other investors to get great ideas. Again, it's only $20 a month, and the amount of information that you're gonna learn is gonna help you make thousands, maybe tens of thousands in your investing based off of this group alone. So one of the things I'm huge on that's going to help you as an investor is to make sure you understand fully what you're invested in. So let me explain Palantir real quickly so that you understand it, because that's going to help you long term. And then I'll explain exactly how you should invest in this company. Palantir is a software company aimed at tackling the most difficult problems of government organizations and companies. From targeting the general of enemy troops with satellites to helping the vaccine distribution during a pandemic or dramatically improving the efficiency of an oil drill. In particular, we could describe Palantir as software to integrate and have all data in a single pane of glass called ontology, understand data with business analytics, create and manage AI models, build easily tailored software applications on top of it to drive efficiency, implement decisions, and record the impact for future recommendations. Palantir is not a simple software application, it's an operating system that makes the digital transformation from an idea to a reality, regardless of the industry. Alex Karp, the Palantir CEO, said, "The problems and needs of an organization often change before the software can be deployed. Our partners require something more. They need generalizable platforms for modeling the world and making decisions. And that's what we've built." As an entrepreneur and a business professor, this makes me very excited because I see this as one of the main key pain points or problems that I see for all business owners, and so they're gonna love this technology long term. So how should we invest in this company? For those of you with a little more appetite for risk, can just invest directly into the company specifically. I believe that this news and it being on multiple solid, huge indexes is gonna help mitigate its risk a little bit and keep it a little more stable, but this stock will be volatile. It's gonna go up a bunch and down a bunch as it continues to grow and gain that market share. So I'd expect much volatility, but long term, I see this thing going crazy. I could easily see this stock 10xing in the next couple years. The next way you can get exposure to Palantir is through QQQ or QQQM, or ETFs that track the NASDAQ 100 once it gets added into the NASDAQ 100. When you buy into that index, it's going to be a little bit bigger than the amount of exposure you're getting from the S&P 500, because in the S&P 500 there's 500 or so companies, whereas in the NASDAQ 100 there's only 100 or so. So the percentage is higher of each company within the NASDAQ 100, so you're going to get more there. It's also going to be a little bit more risky, which is why the NASDAQ 100 is more volatile than the S&P 500. So your choices there are you can invest in the NASDAQ 100 through an ETF or through the S&P 500 through an ETF. Either way, you're going to get some exposure to Palantir that way. Keep this one on your radar and continue to do your own research and watch what's going to happen in the next couple of years. But just like how Nvidia has been rising like absolute crazy and doesn't follow traditional rules, I could see Palantir being one of these very, very quickly. Watch this video for some other AI stocks and ETFs that I really like to invest in for 2025, or watch this one to keep you going strong in your investing journey.